Growing up on the prairies, I was exposed to a large amount of red meat, and usually it was beef. So I am excited to bring you the beef extravaganza today. My name is David Forsell, and I'm your host here on Gaslight Gourmet. Beef comes in many different sizes, from the whole side of the cow, which we used to get down and butcher and put it right in our freezer, to rump roasts and T-bones. We've got ossobuco shank type cuts. We've got some tenderloin, some short ribs, some prime ribs. Amazing amount of meat cuts. So many different things you can do with them. Today, though, we're going to use my favorite cut of meat, and that's the ribeye steak. Comes from the ribeye roast. Beautiful, succulent. It's a little fattier, say, than something like the New York strip loin, which is very lean. It's just got that fat cap on the top. Something a little more meaty, a little something more to chew on than, say, the tenderloin. Has so much flavor. Remember, fat is flavor, and especially when it comes to beef. When you're looking for beef, you really want to see that gorgeous, slightly yellow tinge to the fat, because that means it's been grain-fed. Absolutely stunning. What we're going to do is we're going to take this beef and we're going to simply pan fry it. And you're like, oh my goodness, an entire show on pan fried beef. But check it out. The Greeks really have a way with beef. I think it all started off with that minotaur in the labyrinth, and they just got kind of upset, right? So what they did is they decided to chop them up and put them in the pan. And this is how they kind of do it, just like this. First thing is we're going to sear the beef. Now, searing the beef does not lock in the juices, okay? I don't care what your grandma tells you. You know, what it's doing is it is giving the meat a little depth of flavor. We love depth of flavor. Depth of flavor really brings to life food. Searing the meat also causes a little bit of crust to form on the outside, so it just sort of has this richness that sort of translates into the rest of the dish. We're going to take our ribeyes, and you can see right here, if you take a whole roast, okay, if you take a whole roast and you sort of turn it up that way, you would have the fat on top here, and then you would have the bones underneath here. Well, we've taken off the bones, we've taken off the fat, and we've cut some nice big old steaks. These are about 12 ounces, so this is really something you could almost share with somebody, but if you're like me, I'm gonna eat 2 of these for lunch. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay, we're gonna go right here into the pot with a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper on it. Some very traditional flavors of Greek cuisine going on here with some green olives, oregano, which just grows wild through the hills, black pepper, some kosher salt. You can use sea salt if you like. And we're just going to season these very heavily on the outside. Now, some people are of the school of thought that you don't season your piece of meat until it comes out of the pan, saying that it draws out too many juices. Well, you're already cooking it. Oh, the juices are already coming out. Season your meat, for goodness sake. I don't want to come over to your house and catch you with unseasoned meat, okay? Season your meat. So here we go. Just a little bit of that and a little bit of this, okay? And that goes right in the pan. Make sure it's hot enough because we don't want to poach our meat in fat. I mean, can you imagine? Oh, the horror of poaching meat just like, oh, so here we go. Nice sizzle. Cook with all your senses. Make sure you hear that sizzle. There you go. That's in there, and we're just gonna give that nice golden crust on the outside. We're gonna cook this to medium. Why? Because I like medium. If your friends like medium rare and you like medium, cook it medium. You're cooking, you get to decide. We're going to take some chopped green olives, put them into our mortar and pestle, just like this, and a little bit of chopped garlic. And now it's easier to do this with some chopped ingredients because you don't have to spend so long grinding it. Now what we're doing is we're creating a little green olive tapenade to go on top of our steak. Okay, that's just a nice little flavor that marries really well with that butter and that olive oil and the seasoning and the meat. It just sort of brings it all together. So we're just going to crush this up and wait for our steak just to caramelize on the outside. So, you know, it only takes about 5 minutes to make real olive tapenade in a mortar and pestle. You can use a food processor if you like, but really the essential oils that get smashed out of the garlic and the flavor that's developed this way is really what we're after. So our steak is seared, so it takes only about the same amount of time. So really, I mean, it's a one-stop deal. Look at that, nicely caramelized on the outside. Good searing job. We're just gonna flip that over. Make sure you put it on a clean plate, not a dirty plate. We want to have that so there's no sort of cross-contamination. Into our pan, keep it on that high heat. We're going to add some onions, just some big old chunky onion wedges, just like that. You don't have to worry too much about it. Give it a quick shake. Season it with a little bit of salt. Help break down that cell structure because that helps it cook a little faster and it allows all the flavors sort of to come in at the same time. Another crack of fresh black pepper. just like this. We like that black pepper. That's good. And some lemons. Now keep the skins on, because what we really want to do is have a very large mouth experience here. We've got some lemons in there. The mouth experience comes from the bitterness of the lemon rind that's still on there, the sweetness from the lemon pulp that's in there, combining with the sweetness that's on the caramelization of the steak, the caramelization that's happening to the onions at the moment, a little bitterness with the green olives that we're going to put in there, just because we love that look. I mean, that's so pretty. It's almost like, it's almost like this Greek tapestry kind of happening in the pot. We've got a little bit of oregano, picked lovely from the hills, of course, just in there like that. Good. Give that a quick shake. Some bay leaf, fresh bay leaf if you have it. If not, dry bay leaf is totally okay. Now we're just going to give that a quick little shake. Let that cook down just a little bit with the lid on, just till it cooks down a little bit. Then we're going to put the steak back in the pan and braise it just till it's finished. So let's give that like a minute or two. So a little bit of rustic tapenade right on top of that steak there. Our onions are now perfectly cooked. Our lemons have reduced and released their essence, their sweet goodness, and their little bit of bitterness, really well-rounded kind of fruit. We're just gonna make a little space there right in the middle. And we're not gonna worry about it too much, because we're just going to place that right there, just like that. Let all those lovely meat juices fall right back into the plate. And now, a little white wine on there. You could use Retsina if you like, but I personally don't like that preservative kind of pine tar taste that you might get in there sometimes. Of course, the better quality ones are always lovely to drink. We're gonna put that one in there. We're gonna put the lid on that. We're just gonna let the juices reduce a little bit. The steak is gonna be perfectly cooked. When we take that off, it's gonna be 1 minute. It's funny where you get your inspiration, whether it be from your old chefs, from other cultures, even the people you work with. I love the guy who was telling me about this tapenade that he had on this steak. What a great idea, and I love working with him. So, here we go. We're just gonna let that cook up. It'll be about a minute. Our steak is ready. Look at that, absolutely stunning. For an exact copy of this recipe, of course, you can check out our website. You won't have the physical prompts, but you'll have a lovely recipe right there. Now what we'll do is we'll just take this and we'll just slice this a little bit just for presentation. Oh, you see, look at that. Ever so nice, perfectly done for me. Put that right on the plate like so. A little bit of splayed meat action, just like that. A few beautiful onions just sort of hanging out, and make sure you get some lemon in there, and a couple of those olives, just to let everybody know that that's what you got going on. And don't forget to garnish your plate. Pretty plate is a happy plate, and pretty people are not always happy people, but a pretty plate is always a pretty plate. Here we go. We're going to rip up a little bread, because that's what you would do just in Greece. I love bread and steak. It's such a great combination.